Hello, I'm Erin Prochnow, CEO at YWCA Cass Clay. Thank you for joining us for YWCA's Champion of Empowerment. This has been a meaningful event in person, and while we wish we could be together in person today, we didn't want to miss the opportunity to share with you the impact you've made with your support of YWCA. Right now, more than 300 women and children are safe and on their survivor journeys at our emergency shelter and supportive housing program, thanks to you. Because of your support, services have been ready every minute of every day during the pandemic crisis, even when many funding sources to YWCA came to a sudden halt. It was your support who saved the day. Many stepped up with generous gap funding that kept our doors continuously open for women and children. So I begin with thanks. Thank you for your past support. Thank you for the support we will continue to rely upon in 2021. And because this is Giving Hearts Day, thank you to those who donate today. Let me talk about the year that was. When a U.S. pandemic grew in concern, YWCA quickly prepared for many what-if scenarios. Shelter occupancy in the first 3 months of 2020 paced 13% above the prior year. And we were full as the virus entered our region. City leaders and others questioned whether we might need to temporarily turn away victims due to the close quarters of the congregate living setting. Safety for women and children is our first priority. We determined we could keep our doors open, committing also to protect women and children from a highly contagious virus. And we would find ways to maintain critical emotional, health, and empowerment supports, all amid the biggest challenge of our 40-plus years, sheltering women and children. The day-to-day complexity was enormous. We adapted living arrangements, added the role to our nurse, changed how we serve meals, adjusted how we interact face-to-face with women, and reassigned duties to accomplish what was once done by volunteers. We doubled down on cleaning and sanitation. We planned for regular testing, quarantine of exposed or ill women and children, and remote schooling. New supply demands ranged from thermometers to PPE to iPads for distance learning. The daily mental challenges for our team members are significant, as women have heightened anxieties and fears on top of the traumas of domestic violence and homelessness. Staff outfits daily masks, gloves, safety goggles, and face shields. This allows us to continue to work face-to-face while other times virtually to help women find housing, jobs, transportation, and care for physical and mental health. Our Children's Services team is in contact with schools to help kids stay on track with their learning. Life skills classes for women went virtual. Thanks to CARES Act funding through the City of Fargo, we renovated parts of our shelter to provide 3 completely new rooms, and now have 7 with private bathrooms, essential for meeting the need of safe quarantine space in our community. This also brings the need of growth at the shelter. Now we're able to serve 72 women and children on any given night. We'll still work with public health to quarantine at their undisclosed location when space is needed. Managing COVID and renovating the shelter were 2 key 2020 milestones. We also successfully hosted our legacy events, holding Women of the Year virtually and Chocolate Fantasy via takeout for the first time each, respectively. With great difficulty, we made the decision to close our acclaimed public child care center, A Child's World. When enrollment dwindled, when school shut down, and offices moved to homes, our childcare had begun at a time of dire community need and fulfilled an important mission for more than 2 decades. We're proud to have A Child's World as part of our history. YWCA stands ready to fill community needs, and we stepped up to address food insecurity and hunger, hosting a mobile pop-up food pantry in parking lots at Lutheran Church of the Cross and the neighborhood church. Together, we distributed over 100,000 pounds of food in 2020, compared to 73,000 pounds the year prior. We continue to work on key YWCA strategic priorities. We've taken measures to keep talented staff, empowering them to accomplish their work safely, and supporting them to grow in responsibility. Grace Garden saw its first full year of operations, providing homes, support, and hope to 96 women and children. YWCA Emergency Shelter is our crisis response center. Stable housing is our next platform for healing, financial security, and nurturing a family life. We stay in a supportive role, helping women troubleshoot problems and barriers so they're confident independent, and empowered. On average, a woman stays in our supportive housing program less than 24 months. In a short time, families are able to break the cycles of poverty and violence. A woman who participates in the program earns more money, is healthier, and better equipped to live independently and create an environment for her children to thrive. In 2020, 93% of participants obtained stable housing upon exiting our programs. There is a grave need in our community for more supportive housing. Last year, 57 of the 299 women and children who applied for our program were able to be accepted, just 19%. The need exceeds the supply. We are actively researching opportunities to add more supportive housing to our continuum of services for our community. Across 2021, we will continue to work for women and children to have safe homes without violence and poverty, leading healthy lives on paths of their own choosing. We thank you for your belief in our vision and the trust you've placed in YWCA. We ask for your continued support and your continued dedication to this critical mission. Thank you. Each year at this event, YWCA Friend Awards to outstanding supporters for their exceptional contribution to our mission and work. It's my pleasure to introduce YWCA Shelter Services Director, Angela Daly, to present the first of our two Friends Awards that will be given out today. Angela?
Hello, I'm Shelter Services Director Angela Daly, and I'm pleased to honor a special volunteer who has been critical in keeping an essential YWCA community outreach program going during the pandemic. Our food pantry, where each day we distribute food boxes to prevent hunger and homelessness in our community. With the pandemic, we set aside nearly all volunteerism. Many tasks fell onto the shoulders of employees, including food box distribution. Karen Silvernagel is one of those loyal people who stepped back in, taking risks to continue her volunteer role serving food boxes. In fact, during the height of the pandemic, instead of stepping back, Karen decided to give more of her time and has been a warm and friendly face in the food pantry 3 afternoons a week for the past year. Karen would prefer to give without being noticed, except that she is noticed for her spirit with which she serves. Karen comes to volunteer with compassion and patience. Karen has been the backbone of our food pantry during a very difficult time. Her significance is great, yet we had to strongly convince Karen of the remarkable gift she has made through her time and persuade her in receiving this award. For her dedication and humble virtue, it's my pleasure to give our YWCA Friend Award to Karen Silvernagel.
Thank you, I appreciate this, and it's quite humbling.
And now, I'll turn it over to YWCA's Supportive Housing Director, Erin Dahl, to present our next Friend Award.
Goldmark Property Management manages nearly 9,000 apartment units in Fargo-Moorhead that are home to over 18,000 people. Yet for some in our community, an apartment can feel like a hopeless goal. Out of reach because of credit problems, bad rental history, past evictions, or lack of rental history or references. These situations are often the result of job loss, catastrophic medical expenses, lack of livable wages, or domestic violence. Goldmark made an extraordinary decision in 2019 to remove barriers when working in a unique way with YWCA. They set aside 90 units, 1% of their apartment inventory, to make a 100% difference in the lives of women working to heal from the devastation of domestic violence or poverty. Goldmark created a program called Thrive that extends trust to those we refer who are likely to be successful at living on their own. Our supportive housing program provides advocates for women, someone to check in with them on goals and troubleshoot life problems. Knowing women have our support, Goldmark is able to pre-approve our participants, expediting the process to secure housing. In just over a year, the generosity and humanity of Goldmark and its Thrive program have unlocked 18 apartments and homes for 45 women and children served by YWCA. For their community citizenship, compassionate partnership, and private sector warriorship in the fight to prevent homelessness, we present Goldmark Property Management our Friends Award.
Thank you so much. We're so honored to work with your team and be able to help these women secure housing. Thank you so much.
And now it's my pleasure to turn the event over to YWCA Board President Jane Gust.
I'm Jane Gust, Chair of the YWCA Board of Directors. It is my honor to give leadership to YWCA along with other WISE community members who help set strategic direction for YWCA. One of my colleagues rose to the board role in 2018 after first serving on our Chocolate Fantasy Committee. Rihanna Heisted's input on the board is particularly insightful in that she had been served by YWCA twice during periods of homelessness during her childhood. Rihanna introduced herself to YWCA several years ago after attending a Champions of Empowerment event where she had been invited to attend by her workplace. Rihanna is remarkable in that she has a servant heart and has used her own experiences to lead with positivity and emote hope for others. What follows is a video of Rihanna writing a letter to calm the frightened nerves and encourage a woman entering the doors of YWCA for the first time. Let's watch.
Dear friend, I first passed through these doors when I was a little girl. My mother and I were never in one place for very long. She struggled with alcohol addiction and spent a lot of her free time with boyfriends, and not with me. By age 4, I ran my own baths, made instant macaroni and cheese, and put myself to bed at night. We came to this shelter after my mom's boyfriend hurt her. Here at this shelter, I would come to know stability, and for the first time, I wouldn't feel afraid. I didn't have to put on a brave face like everywhere else, because all around me were people who understood what my life was like, people who cared. They baked bread with me and built my self-esteem by giving me a choice of the jeans I could have or the shampoo that I wanted. I felt special. Things got better for my mom, and we lived on our own for quite a while, but eventually we were homeless and back at the shelter again. I was older this time, around 4th grade. Again, small things were huge to me, like getting a hair crimper that the other girls had at an age where fitting in was everything. This time, I would leave the shelter and go into foster care. I'd be adopted by a healthy, loving, and forever family. Yet, I never forgot this place. Now I am back, but this time, I am back for you. If you feel alone, then walk through these doors. If you feel afraid, then walk through these doors. If you feel hurt, then walk through these doors. If your children are unsafe, then walk through these doors. If you cannot afford to take care of yourself, then please walk through these doors. The people who meet you here will understand. And while I know it may seem impossible, I promise you, there's an entire community who cares, who are gathered together right now to make sure these doors are open for you.
Thank you, Rihanna, for your encouragement to women seeking safety. There are women in our community right now thinking, what will I do? Where will I go? The answer is YWCA. Today is our celebration of your role as champions of empowerment. It's also Giving Hearts Day, a unique day to make a difference, because gifts made to YWCA today will be matched, thanks to Dakota Medical Foundation and other generous donors. I'm asking your support for the future, for women and children who've not yet made their way to our doors. $44 provides the first night of safety. $132 provides 3 nights for the healing to begin. Gifts may be made online until midnight tonight at givingheartsday.org. We foresee a surge of women coming to YWCA in 2021 as the pandemic eases. At present, many homes are still closed off from one another. Offices remain stationed in homes. Unemployment remains high. Women have been cut off from the emotional support of coworkers and family. Others have lost the ability to save money for a move to safety. Every pandemic shift has magnified the tension and violence of abusive relationships. Women frequently call YWCA with questions about coming to a shelter, asking help to plan a safe exit. These women contemplating and calling, yet not carrying through on their intentions to come to the shelter, has been as much as 40%. Typically, it's about 10%. We believe this foreshadows a period of heightened demand for shelter. Women who've held off leaving an abuser because of chaos, uncertainty, and risk outside of their home will escape as more people in the community become immunized and active cases diminish. Women who've contemplated leaving will reach a point where there isn't one more day of surviving the worst. Your donation to YWCA ensures the doors will be open. I close by thanking you for your trust in our work, your support of our mission, and your belief in the difference we are making at YWCA. Please give today. Thank you.